keystrokes, right? Because
that's what we were.
It allows to control the player, so you can go to next song, change the volume, things like that. But it also allows to download or to export a playlist, so the list of the songs in the list, and that's what I want to do.
Okay.
And it worked. I thought it worked until I realized that it downloads only the first 100 tracks from the playlist. And then to download the remaining tracks, you have to set an offset to say that start, because it cannot download more than 100 at a time. Actually, so when you get the first bunch, then you can check if there are more, and if yes, to check that, you have to set the offset to 100, to start at 100 and then get the next 100. But I can't find how to set this offset. And there's an URL parameter that you can set, and I added that, and it should work. But there's something missing. So I was wondering if you had any experience with this API, or if not, if we can just go through that to see if someone has a good idea on how to solve that.
Actually, I am working with a project that I do something similar, but I'm not really sure how you're getting your information. When you call the API, do you receive JSON strings back, or okay. So maybe this solution, or at least this, what I'm going to show you, might look that might be helpful. But there's a part of my script. I do make a call to the API, and then I just created a loop that, at least in the JSON that I have, at least the one that I received, has one particular key that is called is_last_page. I really doubt that you have that, but most of those JSON strings, they do have which page you're currently on. So maybe there's a way. That's basically what I do.
Can you zoom in?
Yes.
Gracias.
So there's a few things that I do. Usually the JSON that I also have, that I use, also has a total number of, things that you can actually loop through. So you could either use a loop through the total, but here's the thing. On each loop iteration that I have, the request changes to change the page option to the next index, which is probably similar to what you are doing. But basically,
I can show you the API console. There's an API in the developer site where I could show you. There's no such thing like last page, at least in the documentation, and it's not. I don't remember what parameter you add to start at a given position, but it's called offset. Oh yeah, you had a page number maybe.
Right.
Now it's an offset. So you yourself, you will add 100.
That's
every time you need to do that.
If you have a parameter that you can put a number in it, then in every loop, you just add how many you already read.
Yeah.
Now,
It would work if it was working because I know how to do that, but there's not something that, here you have the get playlist
uh-huh,
console in the developer.
yeah.
And here you enter the ID of the playlist. There's a limit that can be a maximum of 100. So I put it at 3 here just to make a shorter example. And I'm trying to set the offset to something else than 0. By default, there's no offset. So I will just refresh the token because it's probably expired. And now if I try it, you will see that I have 3 items starting at the first one. There's no track number here, but remember the name even if it's in French. And if I change the offset here to 2,
You should get
instead
on.
of starting at this, it
Yeah.
will start with opium. Okay, so let's,
Yeah, you should
Try
start the next one.
yeah. And it started not,
No, because, hold on, this Fiddler Works, I think because you click on field sample data and that replaced the information, I think. But if you try it again,
yeah. Let me try again with no offset, so it will start with the first one.
let's see,
And that's what we get here.
right, exactly. Now,
Okay, the offset maybe is 0 base. So
it
So
might
if I set the offset to 1,
Yeah,
then
it is.
we see here that the offset is working. It's a 0 base offset.
right. Okay,
Now,
perfect.
the offset, the offset parameter here appears as a parameter here in the URL that is sent to the API.
Yeah.
Okay. And I could remove this just to simplify the URL. So we have Spotify, then we have the limit that is 3 that I could remove, then it would be 100 by default. So the only parameter I had to have here is offset equal 100, for example, if I want to start for the second page.
Question.
But,
I'm sorry.
and
I'm sorry. Here, if you
Yeah.
set the offset to 0, what do you get?
I'll probably will get the first one.
I would assume so, right?
But let me just get to the issue because here it's working exactly as expected.
Okay.
The issue is that with the class that I am using, it's a class that I downloaded from a user named Floker Smoker. Not sure what it means.
Really good.
And he wrote this class some few years ago and documented it quite well, but he didn't publicize that it is not very visible. He has other project that I think he put more time on that. But it's a good class working until I'm trying to add, because there's no paging or no offset in what he implemented. So I'm trying to add this. And if I can show you what's happening in here, there's
Great.
the command that is doing the get playlist is here. So I will run into that step by step. I will just remove a few sub points that I don't need. So here I will enter in this method.
Into this function.
And the method, by default, the original, what it does, it's calling JSON to load something that is prepared by this method here,
Yep.
where it sends the URL that is playlist and then the playlist ID. And if I run this, there are a few steps checking for the header, checking for the authorization.
I'm
and it
sorry,
gets
that
from
URL,
the API.
where it says URL in there, is that
Yeah.
URL the one that should contain the parameter for the offset
Yeah,
or not?
so
That's the
that's
one,
what and it works. By default here it works, except that it is limited to 100. What I tried to add this parameter is to add here,
The offset directly,
The
yeah, I
offset.
understand.
it is ignored, doesn't work.
No,
I
well,
tried
the
it.
things that the function itself is not looping, right?
Well, even then.
No, no. I will do the looping after I can do the offset. So I'm just trying to make the offset work. And when I know how to set the offset, then I will add some code to do the looping check if there are more items or not, you know. But first, I need to be able to start at a given position that would be 100, 200, 300, depending on the size of the playlist. So this method doesn't work. I tried another method I found by reading. It's like that is to pass an object here as an argument parameters that will be added to the header. So, and it is the way it's doing that for another example. So I'm using the same example and didn't work either. It does add in the header of the HTTP request the offset and the value, but it didn't work. And third thing I tried is that you see that the URL that it is using here is playlist slash the playlist ID.
Right.
But if we return to the console here, we see that I don't know if I can make it larger here. Yeah. Not too large. Here. Here there's playlist, then the playlist number, then slash tracks.
Right.
And then the offset.
Right. So you might be missing
Yeah.
that, right?
So I tried to add here slash tracks, make it work as it is working in this.
Yeah.
And it didn't work either. It just returned an empty object for the tracks.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. Can you go to that particular function, the custom call, right? You see the custom call? Can you go there and can we see if you're receiving the URL as you're inputting it?
Yeah. So let's try. Yeah.
Because the first one, you can use.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
Right. No, I want the one with the offset. Let's take a look at the offset one.
Okay.
That
Which one?
Right?
1, 2, or
method
3?
Method one.
Method 1. Okay.
Right. Let's do that. And once you're inside the function, the custom call, once you're inside the custom call, what I'm actually curious about is whether you received the URL correctly, or if there's anything that actually removes whatever you.
Okay. So it's passing get and then playlist slash.
And then the offset. I want to see if you received that offset.
Excuse me, just a phone call and I will shut up.
No worries.
Okay, good.
So, Jean,
let's enter into that. So here what we have is the URL.
Right. I want to see what that URL has.
Yeah, so it has. So let's get at the point where the URL is complete because it is when
down,
it's
down there. I just
this
want to know
point
if it
here.
is modified. Right.
Yeah. So that's the URL that is used. So
Okay.
it's
Now,
API
if you copy that, can you copy it? Can you copy the URL?
I can. Yeah, I can open this here. Yeah.
Let's copy that and put it on. Is it possible to put it on either
In the browser?
Yeah, I don't know if the browser is going to work because don't you have to
pass the credentials too, right?
Right, the credentials.
Yeah, but I'm already logged with this browser, so I'll try.
Right.
Maybe it will work. No,
Yeah.
there's no token. Yeah.
Right, so it is not possible to do that. But at
Go
least,
paste it and go copy the credentials and you're fine, right? But the other thing, Jean, what I was going to say was what I would do is have Fiddler running, and then you can literally look, when I do it with the browser call, what is being sent? When I do it with AutoHotkey, what is being sent? And you can look at the actual traffic, right? And it makes it so easy.
But I know what is sent. The issue is that what is sent is not processed by the API, so it's not the way to talk to the API.
Here's the thing, Jean. I hear you say you know what's being sent, but often
not always is.
you're actually might be missing some. I'm just saying, like, it's happened a lot with me of going, wow, I had one key thing, one little tiny thing different.
What I would like to see, by the way, is this. You see response text. I want to see what you get after the call is made.
Okay.
You get an error.
So here it is with a parameter that says start at 100.
So we know that the URL already has the offset set. Now, what do we get once we do the call? Do you get an error? Do you get something?
couldn't you also
Here,
just,
the response should be now in the object Spotify with HTTP.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
you
response
cannot
text is
see-
not
you cannot
visible
see the-
here.
Right. Is there a way that
I'll
you
have
can
to
actually,
copy.
yeah,
Yeah, it
either
will
copy
be-
it to the clipboard
Yeah,
or,
or maybe it is a return. It's returned here. So let's see what we have when it is returned. It is returned, and now it is set to the JSON load. So
object.
let's see the JSON load.
right.
What happened here?
No, you're calling the JSON, right? This is just the whole thing for the JSON loading.
Uh-huh.
you could also shove the actual URL is getting called into the clipboard, then you'd have it for your browser.
Yeah, I'll do that. It would be easier, I think. So let's return to here.
Just put it in a clipboard or something. See, what exactly do we get?
Okay, I'll play it without debugging. It will be faster, and it will be. So here we have the first, and you know the first one is the first. So that's the result I get, and then now we can look at the.
So you did get a JSON.
Yeah, but it starts at the first one. I know that this one is the first one, and this one
Yeah.
is the last
So
one.
it
from
should
the
have
first page.
started at that one.
Yeah, at 101, the one after.
Right. Now let's
Yeah.
go ahead and do
Because
something.
it's 0-bit.
I saw now.
So
Go
that's-
down a little bit. Go down a little bit at the bottom. So go down, go down, go down, go down. Because I
It's
saw.
very long.
Oh wow.
The bottom
Yeah.
is here.
Right, but I saw here the offset was not even set. See that?
Yeah.
So now, now notice that now you have a next URL here, which you can just. This is what you have to actually copy. It has to be exactly the same. First of all, it has to say tracks. It has to say offset, and it will probably have the limit as well. So what you're gonna do on the other, on the original script that we were looking at, right? Where you were passing the different ways. So here, your URL, this looks almost okay. Just add the limit in there as well.
Yeah, but if I will run this one and tracks is returning nothing. Okay, that's good that we take a look at this one.
Right,
The
because it
limit
looks-
of 100 is
Yeah.
by default, so there's no need to set it. I can set it just to.
Let's set it just in case because it looks like
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
thing. I don't know if the next URL is set up exactly like this.
Uh-huh.
We
Yeah.
don't know if the default only works for the first one.
Yeah. So, and is it exactly the same? So let's compare.
I think you did
this
it the other
here.
way around, but yeah.
Yeah, or there's no difference in the order of parameter. There's no difference.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right?
Oops. Here. Come back here.
That should be basically.
So the HTTP. Okay, let's compare this a little later when we are in the
playlist.
So,
We got
I will
playlist,
run
then
this.
the ID, and then tracks, and then offset.
not here. Here. Okay.
Yeah.
We should get there. And right now. Okay. So here we are entering the
Right.
the custom call with
Right.
this
We want to
URL
see the URL exactly.
where we added tracks here.
Right. So let's go to
enter,
custom call. Right.
Yeah,
And here we can actually.
yeah,
go
and the
check
clipboard will,
URL.
yeah. Okay, here is URL, and it is now complete. So let's open it here, and I will make it larger here.
Right. So that should.
So now we should compare this.
Right. So these two should be at least very similar or the same. Very.
They are the same.
I
Yeah,
think you're right. Right now, this
Yeah, they are the same.
definitely should.
So
work, I would
this
assume.
should work. So
Yes.
We
would agree to
agree
that.
on that. So let's
Yes.
see the result that I get.
Mhm.
I will see it here.
I also want to know, you know what I want to see? The response button. Let's see what the response is.
Okay,
When you go
so
next,
let's just run this and we will get
the
response in the clipboard.
Yeah. We should have a response now in the clipboard, right?
Yeah, let's put it here. So
Right.
that's the
Now,
response.
the offset says 100. You see that? And no here means that there are no more. So this actually worked. We know that we're the correct offset. The problem is there are no more songs. So probably.
But there are 190.
Okay,
songs
so
in this
right now
playlist.
you should have 90 songs. So can you finish? Can you go ahead and
Okay.
finish? Because I think
Okay,
it should be working now.
Yeah.
I think it
So
should.
what's the name? Let's find the name of this first song.
Um,
Okay, it seems to be okay.
let's see.
Because that's not the same artist than the one
Right.
I had in the first
You
song
might even
before.
search for 90 because, to Zace's point, there's usually a count telling you how many were returned.
Right, very likely there is a count.
Yeah, there's 90 in the playlist. There's a lot of 90s there.
I'll put it with quotes around.
Yeah, okay,
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I mean,
I'll try.
the more important.
But okay,
Yeah,
did some
just
progress. It
run
didn't
this-
work when I tried that, but now I
Right.
see.
But basically it is because probably, let's see. Can you finish running it and let's see what the message box says?
Yeah, it's supposed to be finished.
Yeah, you have to click on, yeah. That is interesting.
Yeah, so
It
it
burned.
has, yeah, it has the empty, yeah, because now if we go to playlist object, and okay, I have to stop it out, stop it here, because it ended. Let me just run it again. Stop points.
So now it
So
looks
maybe
like.
that's just the way the JSON is processed, because now if we get,
Right, that's what I was gonna say. So basically it looks like you received the correct JSON information, but the JSON is not being processed correctly.
yeah, that's a good thing to know where to try to fix. So you see here the
Yeah,
okay, and if I go in the playlist object, which is here,
yeah,
you see that tracks is an empty object.
right. But
Normally there would be 100 or 90
Right, but that
some
is-
item here, like what we have in
Right,
the, you know.
but you are getting the track object.
Yeah, that's good to know. So there's an issue with the way the JSON
The loading,
is
right, the
processing
loading of,
this.
yeah, there might be either some string or something that is not formatted properly and the JSON object is just
Yeah.
failing at that and it's not giving you an error. Maybe that's the
Okay, good. I think we can stop with this because I have something to work on. I'll try to parse this JSON file with another JSON library,
Right.
another JSON class to see maybe if it gets, and then to see what's the difference.
And it might happen that it has been happening like that before. It's just that you didn't see that the object was not empty. It was just that it was not being parsed.
Yeah.
John, I put some code in the Zoom chat. I'll throw it in the other one too. But if you're using Fiddler, you can add that to your HTTP request, and it'll have the traffic from AutoHotkey going through Fiddler as well. Because in Fiddler, you could have easily seen the actual JSON, what's getting
Yeah.
returned, and expanded
Yeah.
it. It's just much simpler and
Definitely.
faster, like troubleshooting to make sure, like, hey, what's coming back?
Especially whenever we're doing like HTTP requests, we take a look at Fiddler just in case.
And if we have time, could you show how Fiddler is used?
Um,
Well, let's see. Okay, let's see if there's anyone's got any other questions.
And yeah, if there may be other questions, but just
I'm gonna stand up for a minute. Let me just one second. No, the thing is that I have to get something at the door.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Does anyone have
Thank
any?
you, Zai.
No one got any questions? APIs are amazing. I've played with a lot of them for years. But that's where I've discovered using Fiddler. You can use the Chrome developer tools as well to look at the traffic, but for me, it's just easier. The thing with the Chrome developer tools, you can't see the AutoHotkey traffic that you're doing. So it's nice if you run both through Fiddler, you can really see, are you doing exactly what your browser is doing? The other thing I wanted to mention was, Jean at the beginning showed a console tool. Some APIs have tools like this that allow you to go into them, use a GUI to set some values, and use their API to see what it does, and you can see the JSON. It's a nice tool to have. Not all APIs have that, but a lot of them do, and it's a nice way to be able to kind of play with it, and then you figure out how to adapt it into AutoHotkey for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Has anyone got any questions? I don't see any questions anywhere. Yeah.
Nothing over here. It's the last big weekend of the year before school starts, so everybody's probably at the beach right now. At least over here, we're on the East Coast.
You started 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, I heard like down south, a lot of the schools start like in the middle or really early in August. All the schools are up here in the Northeast start at the very like last day of August, so we still got like another week to go before all the schools start.
So I'll go ahead real quickly since I haven't seen any questions. Showing Fiddler. And I have several videos walking through how Fiddler works, right? There is a Fiddler Everywhere, which is like a web-based version, but they started charging for it.
Yeah.
So this one has its quirks, but at least it's free. So here I'm going to click. Let's see. I'll just do a search. Search for AutoHotkey, and I'm going to hit search. And over here we'll see. Oh, actually, looks like I have my filters on, which is one of the things you have to remember. So now I'm looking at all my traffic, right? So let me refresh this search. And in here we'll see, you know, what that was my Google search. So we would look at stuff going to Google, or we could filter on it. But we can pick every one of these is an API request, right? Let's obviously there's a lot of traffic going on, and this is where we can use our filters. And I'm going to say only show if. Let's see what this does. I'm going to hit run filter set now, so it's going to apply that. So that's funny. Kill everything. Did I do that right? Only show if contains. I might, because I think up in here I probably have Google getting deleted.
Yeah, blocked.
Yeah.
But you can try YouTube or something. It looked like there was some traffic from YouTube before, but
Wow, that
yeah,
dynamically
YouTube is
I
doing
didn't
something.
expect-
Yeah, I saw it. But
No,
basically,
I just didn't expect it to, without actually running it, I didn't expect it to be updated.
oh, okay.
So every one of these is an API call, right? I can double click it, and what's you just have to remember is the stuff at the top, this is what's sent to YouTube, and I can look at the raw API call. I can look at it from like a web form, where often this is where it's helpful to see, hey, what my key and value pair that was sent in a web form or whatever. But the raw, or I can take a given, let me turn off capturing, it's going crazy. I could take this and drag it to Composer. Now this would allow me to execute it. I could hit execute and rerun that query using Fiddler instead of my browser. And in here you'll see also it captures your cookies and whatnot, right? So it's going to shove all my cookies in for me. And here is what is returned, right? So in this one, for whatever reason, it returned this JSON string. And down below we can, sorry, I'm still on Composer. Let me go back to this thing. Now, this is what's returned. So here, Jean, is what I was saying. We could look at the raw, which is really ugly, right? But, hey, if there's JSON getting returned, I can quickly look at the JSON and see what's coming back, right? Yeah. And more importantly, if you add that code I gave you for AutoHotkey, if you put that in your HTTP request, I can use the browser to do one thing. I can go and replicate it with AutoHotkey, and I can see what the browser did and what I did, right? And that's where often you're like, oh, they're setting this header, or oh, they're using a user agent, or they
Right.
have, because there's hundreds.
A lot of little details.
Yeah, and it
It's
painful.
it usually is good to compare what the browser is doing to what your script is doing, and probably there's one little thing that is different, and then you say, "Oh, that's the issue." Yeah.
Yeah, and in the example you were doing, John, that's like a public API that Spotify has said, hey, developers, you want to play with this tool? Here's the documentation. Here's how to do it. But a lot of sites, like let's say LinkedIn, right? They have a public API, but every browser call that your web browser does to it is a API call as well. And when you use Fiddler, you can start peeking at what your browser's doing. And even though like that site may not like what you're doing, you could try to imitate a browser and automate doing those kind of things. And this is where I almost never do web scraping anymore, right? What I do is I use my browser to go do something. I look at what it did, and then I try to replicate it with AutoHotkey with HTTP requests, typically. And it's just, it's amazing what you can do breaking it down that way. And it's just often more reliable than automating a browser. It's a little more work.
Tool is it a freeware? Is it?
It's free. This tool, the version that you can download here, this one is free. Yeah. The everywhere version, which like I said is more of a kind of a cloud-based thing, that's not free.
And what's the name? Telerik or?
Fiddler.
No, but the name of the window progress.
Yeah, I just searched for Fiddler though. It's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I can put. Hold on.
Joe, it sounds like you're hungry. I hear your stomach growling.
That's my dogs.
I know.
So I'll change. Here's a playlist I have on Fiddler, but on that, if you go to the API site I had there earlier on the Automator, you can find out where to download it.
Yeah. Okay, I found it.
Yeah.
I'll put URL on the chat for those who would like to get this application.
And then I have an API syntax writer, which can really help you streamline your writing of your API code. And then this Fiddler, well, this is the Fiddler Everywhere. I have one that rips the traffic out of Fiddler and converts it to AutoHotkey code, but it's got a few bugs. We gotta tweak it. But yeah, it's API calls are just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Anyone have any other questions? Things we're working on?
I'd be happy to show an update to my IDE. That way, anybody watching, I'm trying to get as many recommendations as I can. What do you guys want to see, that kind of thing. Yeah, and at any point, if someone does have a question, I will shut up. Alrighty, where to go? Alright. Forget exactly what I've done since the last time I've talked about this, so if I repeat something, oh well. I added it so that you can now save your settings. I didn't have that before. If you had different types of settings under here. Yeah. Yeah, I just have everything in INI. That just is auto-created when you launch it for the first time in your documents. Eventually, I'll make it so you can mat it wherever you want. I changed the name. I think I mentioned that. It's AHK Playground now. Originally, I just had it named TabNation IDE. So it's AHK Playground now. I added extension support. So the cool thing about this is maybe somebody wants like a custom theme or something, or they wanted to have some type of functionality I don't have. They can write their own AHK file, and this will read it and do whatever kind of code you wrote. So if you have like a theme, it'll change like the background to pink, the text to green, that kind of thing. So people can add their own extensions or mods, whatever you want to call them. The Gui Size, originally when you open this, every single time you open it, it just defaulted it to the center of your screen at, width and height were like preset. Now if I change it, to this size and then I close out, it will save where you had it last, what size it was. So the next time you open it, it's exactly where it was, kind of how other IDEs work. And you can compile now from here. So if you write some code, you can do right here, compile, and it'll just automatically compile to your desktop as an executable, whatever code you wrote. So yeah, most of the functionality for version 1 is on here.
How does it select the bitness? What version of it's just using your default version?
Yeah, it uses just the default. I'm gonna make it a little bit more fancy later on. I just wanted to test that it was gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of functionality that needs to be expanded on. I kind of test, will this work before I fully dive into it. It's kind of funny, a random thing I found. I was actually going to ask, I'm actually glad we're talking about this. Zayas, you have your kind of IDE that you created, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, but where you write your code and you can run it live.
Yeah, the tester. Yeah.
Yeah, your tester. I noticed when you're writing your code, so you write version 1 code, do whatever, run it, save it. But then when you switch to version 2 code, you're using a drop down to switch. Why are you doing that versus just having it auto detect where to go?
Well, two things. First of all, at the beginning, actually, that section of select an auto hotkey thing, I didn't even have it at the beginning. So it was just like you could just run auto hotkey version 1.
You've had that tool for a long time.
Yes. 10 years. Auto hotkey version 2 was not even in alpha at that time.
Yeah.
The second thing is that auto detect is really complex. And unless you're using, for example, the requires directive, which we talked about, Joe, right? If you have the requires directive, it's really easy to detect which version you're using. If you don't have that, if you want to do it based on code, you will have a lot of pitfalls. And even Lexicos, now the newest version of AutoHotkey version 2 has a launcher that detects which version of AutoHotkey you're running. And actually, we have run into issues in which it is really slow. Because each script can be, for example, one way to detect whether it's version 1 or version 2 is if you have the GUI command, because the GUI command is really different between the two. What if you have a script that doesn't have the GUI command? Then you cannot detect it. Okay, well, it is because maybe you can check whether you're using the comma after the command or not. Because in version 1, the comma is optional, where in version 2, it's not. You cannot put a comma after the command. Well, what if I never use commas? You cannot detect the two. So it is really tricky to just do an automatic detection. It is doable. It is just really complex. And if I just select one or the two and I just point to a different file, it is a really simple solution for that. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was just kind of curious because I like you said how you used to have it where it just did it. That's how I have it going, where it just kind of looks at it and says, okay, run this version 2.
Actually, with version 2 right now, how it is set up, I think I can, instead of select something, I just write the code, say run, and the AutoHotkey launcher will do that work. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
The new AutoHotkey launcher could do that for me because I just say run the script, and Windows would automatically detect which the launcher automatically, and it would detect for me. But again, that was not available at the time when I did that. So yeah.
Okay.
Now it's cool, right?
Yeah, I was kind of curious why you did that. So
yeah.
Because I was like, it's an extra step, but it makes sense.
I assume that's a search in the top right. Am I right? A filter?
Yeah. So you can type in
Is it a fuzzy matching type thing, or do you have to? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You can do it in the middle of. It seems to be.
So I can do like message box and anything that has.
Can you type the word move?
Type what?
Move.
Oh, move.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to know if it was matching inside the other words, like move.
Like right here.
Win move and file move directly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where it is inside the word. That's a very good search.
Yeah, this was it was an interesting thing. I learned a lot doing this because I kept having some downfalls where like I could type the word and it would work, but then when I would try to backspace, it would be like stuck on what my search was. So that one, for some reason, it took me a while to figure that one out. But yeah, this is my search list. So you can say like, I want to know more about when close. So if I have a YouTube video or Joe has a YouTube video based on when close, you push YouTube, it's going to go directly to that video. If it does not have a video, it's still going to take you to YouTube, but it's just going to autofill your search with HK when close to maybe find something.
I am a little bit curious about something. I'm looking at this section here, well, for the new lines. Is this like you did it, is that something that you're doing manually yourself? Like, or because I know that the scintilla control has this line numbering, but I've never seen it with the scroll bar here at the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, this is just a second edit box.
Okay, so you're doing it manually.
Yeah, which unfortunately I don't want to do. I decided that I have some issues with this.
And what was the problem with the scintilla numbering?
I just haven't tried that one yet because I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah. No, I do want to change it to like what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a scintilla control or not? Is this like a normal edit box?
Yeah, for now. I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. The thing is that I thought that
I
you were
gotcha.
using a scintilla control. No. It's fine.
It
Because
is
the
going to
scintilla
be.
control already has the numbering system in it, and I was wondering why did you
Yeah.
decided to do it yourself? No, but that makes sense now. I get it.
Yeah. No,
Now I'm actually kind of curious. How do you know which line you're in to add the number?
So I have it
That's
doing
interesting.
basically whenever you push enter, it's doing a new count. Anytime you push delete, it's doing a new count.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I am going to
That's
be.
the way to go.
Yeah, no, I am going to be switching to the scintilla control just because this ended up not being as. It doesn't flow as well as I thought it was going to. It was just a simpler answer, I guess.
Yeah, it was a quick answer. Yeah, you can
Exactly.
start with that. Okay.
But it does run into some issues here and there. So yeah, no, there's a lot I'm going to change. That I do want to change. That way I can get rid of this edit box, just have one control. Trying to think.
Well, the other one I would.
Oh, plus the GUI highlighting is going to be way easier in a scintilla control.
But also the search. Let me share my screen and show you.
Yep.
I don't know if you've played with it, but it's a phenomenal example of what can be done with different types of search. So this is Sift. It's I think I have the link to where you can download it. But what's really cool is like if it's just an in, right? If I start typing official, it's going to filter on it, right? But I could have it where, hey, let's look on the left. So only when I type where, it's got to be the first word, right? Or I could do a right or an exact or a regex or ordered characters. This is where can I find the official build? See how it's the order of the characters, right? And then there's engrams, which look at, an even more complex number of characters out of the thing. It's just a phenomenal script that has all these functions, in it. The GUI is just an example of how to use them, right? What they do, but it's really cool. Now, Tom, what I was going to say was in this tool. So this is a scintilla control, and one of the reasons why I changed it was so you can see the color, right? But I can hit Control backspace, and it actually deletes. Right?
I would see that. I was thinking about that when he mentioned that it was an edit control. I think automatically you lose a lot of details like that. Control delete is gone.
Yeah. It drives me nuts with a hotkey when I'm in a normal field.
Right.
And I'm like, I love the coloring, but that ability to just Control delete, Control backspace, and have it work properly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the plan, is to switch over to the scintilla control, and then I guess I'll add that the version picker whatever. So yeah, because I have it like you were saying, like automatic, but if it's gonna have some pitfalls or be a little slow, or maybe I can just have it so the User can choose.
I was gonna say, have a radio button at top saying
Yeah.
which one you want to be working in, right? I mean,
Do you want to have it auto detect or do you want to pick manually? I'll do that.
because
Trying to give as many options.
They get in the habit, they're using one for a while. You know, not too many people switch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Anyway,
Yeah, true.
anyone have any questions? Anything they're working on? Any questions on something?
Nothing over here. Hello.
I'm sorry, I'm late today. I'm very busy actually earning a living and doing my photography stuff.
Crazy stuff.
I've had a weird one. When I'm editing in Studio, when I do, let's say, a find or something, when I click to go back into the editor section, it jumps. It jumps like 30 lines up. And I've got to scroll back down again. Or when I click and start typing, it'll do something stupid and add a word for me somewhere. It'll miss out the first character I'm typing and then type the rest of the word in.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm having a hard time understanding what, like following. Do you have something that you can show probably?
Right.
Because just by trying to explain it, like I will have a very hard time understanding.
Okay, I'll share my screen. It doesn't always happen, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, those are the most annoying bugs when it just happens whenever it wants.
The first thing I would do is just delete Studio and download it.
I've done that
Okay.
countless times, yeah.
And the second thing I would suggest is ask which search. There's two searches. There's the quick search.
Control F.
What? I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Control F is the
find, the normal
find.
find. Yeah.
So
That's
let me
the
share my-
one that's always on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't use that one. I use the other version,
which is
and maybe it's the quick find.
so I'll give an example. Let's say I want to find everything with tooltip display on
You're
it.
looking over
I just say
items. Track to
Control
the
F.
Add to your shopping list.
Tell Alexa to shut up.
Yeah, no doubt.
You definitely zoom in on your code there.
Okay, well, the code is a bit irrelevant at the moment because it's about the way the action. I click on here and hit Control F. It comes up here. I hit search. It shows me everything I want to know. Let's say I want to jump to this bit of code there. It's found it. When I click on the screen, sometimes what happens is I get that and it brings me here. And I've got to go, where was it again? And scroll back down to
So
it.
it actually kind of like jumps back to a different location, what you're saying.
Well, and
Yeah.
Alt left arrow will bring you back to where you were.
Not always. It brings me back to different places.
Yeah, so there might be a little bit of a bug in the search, and
I've
probably
never
the
had a-
position. Maybe the
First off-
position is not saved or whatever.
So
I use the search that you see at the bottom of the screen, not that one that pops up.
So if I want to find, for instance, this function, what am I going to do? Pop in here and hit
Just hit Alt
Control
F1.
I want to find it everywhere in my text. I want to find it everywhere in my text. So greed. What's greed mean?
No, that's different. Don't worry about that one. And basically, so when you do quick find, does it only find the next one?
Yeah, no, it finds the one. I don't.
No, I want all of them. So
No, okay.
these are all the ones in my code that use that function, for instance.
Yeah. So there's a general search that actually finds it everywhere. But it seems to be that when you double click to get to a specific section of your code, like for example, if you double click the first one, the code, and this is something that I know how it works, Scintilla, you can tell it to go to a specific position on your code.
It's done that. But when I
Right.
click on the code itself,
Right. It actually jumps
sometimes
back.
it-
Right.
no, it jumps somewhere up or down
Right.
random, and I've got to scroll back down to it.
So what I'm saying is like, it probably is a little bit of a bug because the window is open. So after you find and you double click, right? So after
Yeah.
you find and double click, can you close that window first?
There is a auto close and double click. Yes.
Right.
And there we go.
That, and did you have that option selected before?
No.
Then try it with that, because I'm suspecting that while this window is open, when you click, it tries to get a position of whatever you click,
I gets confused.
and it gets confused. So probably just use the auto close. Just when you double click on something, it will jump to it, but the window is going to be.
What does the greed checkbox mean?
Under regex.
That has to do with regular expressions, and it is a little bit complex to.
But I'm not using regular expressions. So
No, you're
it makes
not. That's the reason. That's the reason why I said like it doesn't matter in your case, because you're not using that anyway.
Okay. So
That
the
has
way
to do with regular expressions.
I would
the way
also say though, Guy, when you click on a word. Don't click like at the end of a. If you do end up clicking somewhere, make sure you literally click on something,
as opposed to just on the screen.
Right.
right?
Okay.
Because that also could, it tries to figure out. Let's say you click to the right of a word that doesn't have text there. You know what I mean? You're clicking in an empty spot. It versus you're actually clicking on a word. I would always click on a word.
Awesome.
Yeah, there might be something going on like that.
Okay. So I'm playing around with this bit of software, and I found some nice examples of things I'm going to incorporate. But at the moment, my biggest challenge is my toolbar's vanished and I can't get it back. Show toolbar used to pop up. It exists somewhere, yes, but I just can't find it.
Look for an any file, and then look to see if you can see where you're talking about a toolbar for that program.
Yeah, I've got my any file here, and here is the location.
But just delete it.
Well, no, I know where the location is. It's drawing it there. When I use my test function, yes, it draws where it should be, but for some reason, it's not showing it. So that's my little thing I've got to investigate. Okay. Can I carry on asking questions, or do you want to kick me out to the next?
I still would delete that and then try it and then go paste it back. But anyway, if no one else has any questions, sure.
Yeah. Okay. My next bit is I am trying to get my program to come up in program files here, so people can click on it here. I put a folder in the program files folder, and I put a shortcut in it, but it doesn't appear. How do I make that appear?
No, yeah, this location here is not in the program files folder. It's a different. I don't exactly remember, but just right click on one of them. Just go ahead and open the menu. Right,
Okay.
right click on one of them. Right click on that. I was hoping. Can you right click? Go to more. Open file location, and you will notice that this is at a different location. It says Windows Start Menu Programs. You see that? So Program Data, Microsoft Windows Start Menu Program.
And there's two, right? There's one for every user that uses that computer,
Right.
and one for that user.
Right.
Okay.
But this is the path where you would have to add the shortcuts, and make sure that they're shortcuts, not
Okay.
the actual
course.
programs.
Awesome.
They have to be shortcuts to your program.
So that works beautifully. Okay,
Right.
so that's that solution. Thank you. You've nailed it for me. Another quickie, because I like these quickie things. Another quickie is let me show you my preferences tab. Well, preferences. Why is this not working?
Because it's live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it seems to be that if the GUI was created already,
Yeah.
and then the second time that you try to show it, if you're trying to recreate the GUI,
It'll do that.
it will give you this error. So that there's two solutions: either hide and show the GUI instead of
Or
recreating
destroy it.
or no, you just use the GUI new command.
Yes.
GUI command new, and that would destroy the old one and create a new one. So those are the
Okay.
two ways that you can do that.
Okay. Well, if
Is this your preferences, GUI?
Yeah, I'm trying to get load with the preferences group, but I'm getting this and I don't understand why. Let me close. Let me load up. Where's my script? My script's going to edit this script.
You got 3 minutes left before the hero call.
Okay. Well, I'd love to carry on this on the hero call if possible. Okay, this is my GUI. It's not running the script.
There it is. Yeah, because it was open already. Just close it.
Sit.
Can you close it?
I'm
Just close
trying.
it. And I think there is another one that is suspended. Is that one that is suspended the same?
No, that's
Okay.
every time I go into my studio, I disable all the scripts that edit my typing.
Okay.
So I don't want any,
Right.
spelling corrections.
Go
when I'm
ahead.
typing.
Go ahead and run the script now. Let's see.
Why don't you just use the when active? If when active to.
Yeah, I have. Sometimes it take. This is just. I knock it out. It's easier. Right.
So
it
if you
won't
run the
for me.
script,
It won't
is
run
it
for-
running?
No, it won't run for me.
Okay. So what you can do is try to figure out if it is running, and then you can talk. We can talk about that one.
Yeah. Okay.
on the next
Awesome.
section.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you on the other side.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We're wrapping it up. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you saw the APIs are amazing. They're one of my favorite things to have in my toolbox of stuff to do. I got a lot of tutorials and videos on working with them. Fiddler is a great tool, and you can use things like Postman as well. And the developer tools, that you can see traffic. I prefer Fiddler. It's just a little easier to see what's going on, and allows you to see your AutoHotkey traffic when you're doing stuff to compare the two, because it's often you think you're doing exactly what the other thing's doing, and you're not, unfortunately. So, yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
See y'all.
Bye.
To what is it? Ducko's mods. I'm kind of wondering. I don't know too much about the A star. I know it's a search algorithm. I know it's kind of people usually try to go a different route because of just how bad it is with your memory. Because I mean, it saves it's been so long since I've do it, so I'm could be wrong exactly what I'm saying, but it's not good for your memory because it just stores so much information, including spaces and what stuff, where there's other algorithms that are going to be just faster. I know there's certain cases where you do want to use A star, but I'm not sure what they are, just because I don't know much about it. I haven't done a video. I think I've done 1 or 2 videos where I talk about algorithms. I'm trying to think what they're called. But I'm not sure how that would translate into A star. Let's see here. YouTube. Let's go to my... Or actually, I have it somewhere here. Man, what is it? Man. I can't remember what the algorithms are that I used. But why would it be faster compared to other ones? I'm not really sure. I don't know too much about it. Oh man, I can't remember what my algorithm. Trying to think here. Ooh, that's my email. What do I want to search? Algorithm. I know I've done one. Why is the word algorithm not showing anything? YouTube searches are crap. Caesar. What? Oh, I was using a cipher. That's what it was. Okay, never mind. It wasn't an algorithm, it was a cipher. So for sending secret messages and decoding and encoding strings. Alright, so it wasn't that. Never mind. Wrong thing. But yeah, let's see. I gotta go soon, though. Yeah, the path... okay, so that might be what I was thinking, is the paths are pre-calculated. That's why it's so bad on your memory, is it's because it's storing all this information that you probably don't even need. But if you need it, then the fastest path is saved to an INF file, then read from... yeah. See, that seems weird that it'd be... I mean, I guess it would be... I don't know if that would be faster, though, because you're adding extra steps, and you're taking up so much of your memory, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, but every time you do a search, it would be doing that. But it doesn't matter, even if it's one, it's still pre-calculating using all your memory. And then creating an INI file, then it's reading. That just seems like a lot of extra steps versus just having it built into auto hotkeys. But yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know much about A-star, just from something I remember reading a long time ago. But yeah, I'll take a look. I'll see exactly how it works, and how it might implicate it into AHK. If it can be done, that'll be a good video, I guess. See how it goes. Alright, I gotta go though, so I will see you all later. But yeah, what is it? Ducko's Mods. I'll remember your name so I can tag you or something, or mention you in the next one. Peace.